So welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm literally just talking about my experience working in fashion, because a lot of people have requested this video, and it's because some people first of all don't even know I've ever worked in fashion. Some people just want to know what I do in fashion. So yeah, that's literally this video. Now, my first job in fashion was my internship at Deploy London. So I'm not really going to talk about that too much because I made a whole video about that. So if you want to watch that before continuing this video or after this video, I'll put the link in the description below. I took up another fashion internship at Stella McCartney, and my role at Stella McCartney, I was a product tester. So what that meant was I would test basically like the quality of the garment. So like tensile tests on like fabrics, not just for Stella McCartney, but like Stella McCartney was one of the clients of where I worked. So we would like test garment fabrics using tensile tests. So I'm not sure how many of you guys, like if you do engineering or you've ever done an engineering course, a tensile test is like you get this machine and you kind of mechanically rip the material, and the machine will calculate the force it took to rip that material. So we would test that for different materials to see what is strongest in this composition. It's really complicated, really technical. I don't want to bore you guys out, but that was basically my role. Basically just material science stuff. Yeah, there's not really much to say about my role because like when I was working there, I didn't really do much outside of my role. It's not like my internship where I had interesting stories and I was doing like everything and I just did so much stuff. Now, I work for a fashion brand called Polones. So there's a big company called Carmel Clothing. Now, Carmel Clothing is like a fashion supplier. Basically, they won like a Drapers Award for being the best fashion supplier last year. So they're like big time. So I work for this big company called Carmel Clothing. Now, Carmel Clothing supplies like all the fast fashion brands. So I didn't even know this till I started working at Karma Clothing, but basically, like Top Man and all these guys don't really even design their own clothes, which I thought they did. Like Top Man, when they copy people, they design their own clothes, but when they want like some unique designs, they outsource. So where I work, there's like a different office in the big building where I work, where there's like people who just are dedicated to like Top Man will tell them what designs they want for this season, and those guys will like help them design it. Same thing with like other fast fashion brands. All of them basically all go through like Carmel Clothing, so they just like supply clothes essentially. And then Carmel Clothing, because it's a massive company with a lot of money and a lot of funding, they decided to make this new luxury brand called Polones, which I work for. So I actually work for a new brand. It's a startup, a womenswear brand. And I thought this was a really good opportunity because I've always worked at established brands. I worked at Deploy London, which is an established sustainable womenswear brand. I worked for Stella McCartney, obviously very established sustainable womenswear brand. Once again, I worked for another sustainable womenswear brand because Polones is sustainable because they use archive fabric. And then womenswear. So I actually know a lot about womenswear, like even down to like design and stuff. So if you guys have any questions about that, I can always answer those. But yeah, so Carmel Clothing made this brand Polones, which I work for. And yeah, so what I do for Polones, I'm a content creator. So content creator meaning I'm a videographer. So all the videos you see, like campaign stuff, is basically always me. All the photos, especially on the Instagram, because I run the Instagram account, is me apart from production shoots, because we have like a different photographer who does production shoots. Really good photographer, Chuck, and he does like editorials for like Vogue and stuff. So he's legit. That's our like production shoot photographer. So yeah, similar to like, let's say COS, because I know COS, and I'm not sure about Arket, but I know COS is under H&M Group. So what a lot of like big companies do, they like make a luxury brand under the major company. So yeah, it's really fun, really fun. Like I do a lot of stuff. Like I go on different shoots. I've been on like campaign shoots with like legit people. There was a campaign shoot I went on recently that was with like guys who did the campaign shoot for Saint Laurent, and it was like a £400,000 budget. So like I'm learning on the job like some crazy skills from like big time pros in this field and in this industry. So my experience is vast. So I've gone from like my first role, which was more like just do anything intern. My first internship where I was like doing some design, doing some errands, doing everything. Then to my second role that was product testing. So that's more like more quality control, garment stuff, fabrics. And now my job where I'm just a photographer and videographer for a fashion brand. So basically I've worked in every single aspect of fashion, and I did that deliberately, funny enough, because to a lot of people don't know what my end goal is, like what I want to achieve in fashion. So most people know I studied chemical engineering. I'm about to go to uni and study a second degree, which is either fashion journalism or journalism. I'm in the process of applications now. So hopefully I get into a university to study fashion journalism. But as it stands, I do have offers to study journalism. So either way, I'm going to be a journalist, and my whole goal is to be a fashion journalist. Now, that is the reason why I had to make sure that I work in every single aspect of fashion, because I don't understand like journalists, and I feel like this is why, like, no offense, but a lot of journalists are terrible, especially like fashion journalists, because they don't even know what they're talking about, because like they're looking at stuff and like making an opinion on it without having worked in design or product control to actually tell you about fabrics without like sounding vague, and then being in the videography, so seeing that side of it. So yeah, that's my end goal. I want to be a fashion journalist. So going back to like the future of this channel, because a lot of people want to know what's the future of this channel, what am I going to do with this channel, what's my end goal with this as well. The channel is literally just a medium to start my fashion journalism, essentially. And you know how like YouTubers release merch? My plan, because I even know like as a fashion journalism student, I think in your second or third year, you have to release a publication. So my whole plan was like every year I'll release a publication, like sell it just in general. But obviously I'll promote it on my YouTube channel as well. If people want to buy it, be my guest. And it's going to be like a proper publication where I like interview designers, interview creatives, but not like big creators. You guys know I'm all about like underground people. It will more be like, if you guys have watched my Dao Yang Ding video, Dao Yang Ding is, if you haven't watched the video, he's like an amazing designer from China, and he had an amazing graduate collection. It'll be those type of guys I'll be interviewing. The guys that are really good but don't get exposure, a lot of CSM graduates, that sort of stuff. So hopefully my publication does well, but that is my end goal, and that's why I'm not in any particular rush. Like a lot of people like release merch, and it's like not everything has to be rushed. Like I have a plan, like let me just go with the flow for now. And like it'll surprise you how much working in the industry will make you learn about stuff, because a lot of people think they know everything. Let me give you a good example. Working at Polones as a photographer and videographer. Now bear in mind, I've done photography and videography since I was like maybe 15, and now I'm like 22. So that's 7 years. And all that time, when I did photography and videography, I always thought about aesthetic when I kind of did my work. And that's quite interesting, because I would always have clients. I've done a lot of freelance work, from like weddings to fashion campaigns, a lot of stuff in the past. And everyone's always like, oh, your videos are so cool. I like this, I like that. And then when I went to Polones, like my boss was like, no, it's wrong because this. And I actually learnt that when you work for a fashion brand and you want to be a videographer, like photographer for a fashion brand, I always just made everything look aesthetically pleasing. But I didn't consider very important factors like the actual garment color. So my boss now tells me like, it doesn't matter how good your picture looks if like the color of the garment isn't exactly how the garment actually is, because people are going to think it's like slightly more blue than it actually is. They're going to buy it, then they're probably going to return it because it's not the right color. And that's just crazy. Like, that's not even something I ever considered. And now, even when I do like my freelance photography and videography work, I like have that thing consciously at my back, like, the colors have to be true. Where I never really thought about that before, because it was just like never in 7 years anything someone considered. So it's just stuff like that. It's like serious attention to detail. Like, my photography style for a long time had been like really edgy, really like grungy. And if you guys want to see more of my photography, I'm going to start posting my shots on an Instagram account called IO Ojo Media. So I started posting there, but I haven't posted like a lot. I need to post there more. And now when I'm on like all these big production shoots and my boss is like, you need to make sure there's not one strand of hair misplaced, because that's just not going to look luxe. It's going to look a bit off. And it's just crazy because I just never really considered stuff like that, even doing photography for all that while, because literally one strand of hair, if they see one strand of hair out of place, like, you're going to have to do the whole shoot again, like, genuinely. So it's just crazy. Like, I'm learning so much. And I feel like my videography skills and photography skills that I'm building will be really good in terms of video journalism when I do become a journalist, because video journalism is a big part of being a journalist, of course, like documentaries and stuff. Obviously, if I was to make a documentary in the future, I'd have to get a whole team. I can't film myself. You guys, this is what it looks like when I film myself. But okay, so 3, 2, 1, go. But yeah, those are literally all the jobs I've ever done in fashion. Deploy London, Stella McCartney, Polones. That's it. All 3 sustainable women's wear brands. 3 entirely different roles. It was just like another reason I did it, apart from like wanting to be a journalist eventually, and trying to get a job in every aspect and facet of fashion, was also just trying to understand what part of fashion interests me the most and stuff like that. And also, before I actually finish this video, because I'm a photographer and videographer for Polones, I'm constantly shooting. So if you're a woman based in London and you want like to shoot, or you, I don't know, want some high quality images for your Instagram page or whatever, definitely message me on Instagram, because we're always looking for women to shoot in our clothes. So yeah, Also, check out the brand Polones. You never know, you might like some of the clothes. I'll leave a link in the description below. Like I said, it's women's wear, and also the way like the clothing is designed. It's our creative director is Korean. She's like legit. She worked at McQueen. She's worked for Oswald Boateng and Moschino Kashino. So yeah, she has a lot of experience. She went to CSM as well, so she's like a legit person in fashion. And yeah, she's Korean. That's where she's from. So her design aesthetic is almost very Korean, like very oversized, drop shoulders type of aesthetic. So yeah, a lot of the stuff does fit big. So like if you're really small and you think a small is small, it's not going to be small. But yeah, on that note, let me know your thoughts down below. I literally wanted to make this video as like a response to everyone who always asks me like, what do you do in fashion? Because Micah made his video, he's a stylist. So I thought I'll make mine. I'm currently a photographer and videographer, which I've been forever. But that's like my actual role now in fashion. So yeah, thanks for watching. And I'll be back with another video very soon.